Hey everybody, it's Chris here. I wanted to go over two things. One, ham radios and GMRS radios, both are very good. To have a license for both of them is actually a good thing for emergency preparedness. And the reason why I wanted to go over two things. One, emergency comms. Two, having a license for both ham and GMRS radio, and how those two licensing helps you in an emergency. In an emergency, if you do have a radio such as a ham radio like this one, and you probably use it for whatever other reason, if you do have a ham radio and you decide on having it in your house and it, having just radios in general, these things come in handy in an emergency. And the reason why that is huge. One, being able to hear emergency services, being able to use this as a scanner. If you are in areas where there's tornado activities, hurricanes, flooding, wildfires like we're having right now in the U.S. and in Australia, snowfall in the winter for the north sections of the United States and Canada all the time. Having emergency communications is key. Why? People are so dependent on technology. And what that means is people are very connected to their cell phones and computers, laptops, such things like that. And what happens is, and we all know, is in the middle of an emergency weather situation or even something man-made, cell phones are down. Communications over cell phones are either bad or completely gone. Secondly, your computer is not working because you don't have any internet. Internet and cell phone service is very dependent on everything working in unison. It has to be able to have power. It has to also be able to send out that signal. And if you're in an area where you can't get a signal or the power is out, all those things happen, you have no communication over the cell phone services. And now you're dependent on what? You are not able to get information. You're not able to get communications if you are in an emergency. Let's say something's going on and you need help now. You can't get over the cell phone. And a lot of people don't really notice this. A lot of people are not using landlines as primary phone services anymore. And if they are, a lot of cable subscribers are using their phone service with the cable company. The problem with that is the cable company sends their information over their lines. And if their power is out or the power in your area is out, you have no cell phone service, regardless of if it's coming from your cell phone or a landline that's coming from your internet service provider or your cable provider. So those things still lead you without communications. You have a walkie-talkie, now your whole life is in a different direction now. Because if you are in an emergency, you can use your cell phone, your walkie-talkie to talk to anybody almost. You can talk to, and this is only an emergency, but it is not illegal to use ham radio frequencies, GMRS radio frequencies, any frequencies for that matter, to get help. If you need help and you're in your life or somebody else's life is in danger, or you're snowed in, or a tornado just hit your area, you have no communications, you have no way of getting out of where you are, you need help, it is perfectly legal to use your radio to, if you don't have a license, to contact somebody that might be listening. And what happens is, ham radio operators, we already know, and GMRS especially too, when there's an emergency, we already turning on our radio and we're listening in to what's going on with other radio operators, fire rescue, emergency services, what have you. And if we're hearing somebody saying, "Oh, I need help. I'm over here and I can't get out," or my whatever, somebody is pinned down under rubble and I can't find my family, and whatever the case is, we can get that over the radio. And we can say, "Oh, okay, I can get into some help. I can find somebody else. I can contact emergency services and say, hey, this is such and such. I have a situation over here," and they can, over the radio, you can talk to emergency services if it's an emergency. So in emergency situations, your cell phone is out, your house phones are out. This becomes your lifeline. And also being able to talk to other people that might be doing the same thing. My whole thing is, I have 2 of these Baofeng UV82 radios, very good radios. What I'm going to do, what I'm planning on doing, is I'm going to have a bunch of these radios. I'm going to order another 2 for me, my fiance, my daughters, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it in a little go pack. Some preppers already have videos out there on that, but what you could do is you could take off the antenna, pre-program the radio so that it has certain channels and frequencies that, one, you could talk to each other on a specific frequency, and or weather information, emergency stations, fire, rescue, others, emergency services. And now you have this, somebody is using one, the other person is having another one, and in emergency, you know what to do. I'm going to get on this radio. I'm going to go to a specific channel that we already discussed to do. I'm looking for Christian. I'm looking for Christian. And if I'm within that area, I can hear it. Or somebody could relay a message. If most repeaters in New York and anywhere have a generator backup. So when power runs out, they still have power. So most, if not all, repeaters have some kind of backup. Not every single one of them do, but most repeater systems have an emergency backup generator. So even when the power is out, you still could be able to use a repeater, and that's what you do. You put your radio on a repeater, and you have it on a fixed channel so that you and your family know what radio stations to go to, what repeater you're going to be on, and you can talk over miles. And if you can cover up to 5, 10, 15 miles, that's a good geographical area, and you will be able to use that information, find your friends and family if you have a bunch of people using using radios like this. Now, I think that everybody should have some kind of radio communication training, even if you're not a ham. But I believe that everybody that has family, friends, should all have some kind of radio. These things are not expensive. You can get these things on any website now, Amazon, Let Go. There's other operators that are selling these radios. If you want them new, go to any website that's selling these things, and you can get them. This cost me $35 with free shipping from Amazon. Learn how to use these radios. Get your friends, family into using the radios, so when something does happen, at least you're able to get in contact with friends, family, loved ones. And the emergency prep helps everybody understand what to do in the event of an emergency. Not just communications, but also learning how to survive in an emergency situation. So radio communications is just one part of emergency prep. Emergency prep is communications, because that's like the first thing you're really going to need other than first aid. Let's say something happens to you, the first thing you're going to worry about is first aid, helping yourself and or somebody else. Family, friend, stranger. Second thing, communications. You have to know what's going on. You could be a survivor of a hurricane. You could be a survivor of a tornado or a severe storm that can knock out power or can knock out communications or can knock out flooding that could be bad in your area, and you're flooded in and you can't get out. So all those things, communications is key because you have to know what's going on. You have to be able to get help when needed. So that's going to be one of the things I'll be talking about in future videos as well. I want to show how to set up a radio for emergency use only, so that you understand how that works. Not just to use these radios for communications and hobby or whatever it is. Emergency situations are very big, and they're a huge thing nowadays, especially where we have more severe weather than we ever had. Now it's even more out there. We're getting more tornadoes. We just had a few tornadoes this past week down in the south where there, severe damage. Some people hurt and killed. So this is very important for those of you that live in high-prone severe weather areas. So if anybody has any questions, please feel free to ask the questions. I work with the American Red Cross, so I do have a lot of experience when it comes to severe weather and what to do in those situations. I also am a communications guy, so I'm very good with the communications. And if you have any questions on what you think you should do, feel free to ask. Press that like, put the notification so that when I give you more information, I put up more videos, you'll be able to see what's going on and how I set up myself and my family for emergency situations. Thank you for watching.